Have you ever felt that no matter how much you gave of yourself, love never seemed to choose you? As if there were a kind of golden ticket to happiness in love, and it was always in someone else's hands. For so long, you held on to the belief that someone would come along, someone who would see your worth, who would love you calmly but intensely. However, what often came instead was the opposite: indifference, lukewarm relationships, ego games, and a pain that seemed never-ending. The pain of emotional abandonment, the absence of reciprocity, the hope that shattered each time you thought you had found the right person. All of this accumulated layers in your soul. It was as if, little by little, you were creating armor to protect yourself, but also to distance yourself. Because the more you protected yourself, the less you allowed yourself to feel, and that contradiction hurts. But then, something changes. Something begins to bloom almost imperceptibly, like a gentle breeze after a long winter. Love, yes, that love you doubted still existed for you, arrives, but it doesn't come screaming, it doesn't come with empty promises. It arrives slowly with simple gestures, with a gaze that doesn't shy away, with words backed by actions. For the first time in a long time you realize someone is really making an effort. And here lies the most delicate point after so much disappointment. How can you trust? How can you not doubt good intentions when you've believed before and been hurt? The heart, when wounded, doesn't heal with time. It heals with new experiences, with genuine affection, with the touch of someone who isn't just there out of need or convenience. And that someone has finally appeared. This person looks at you with eyes that don't compare, don't judge, don't pressure. They want to understand you, not change you. They want to fit into your world without erasing it. Every message, every gesture, every detail. It's not random. There's a sincere effort to show you that you are important. And the most surprising thing, you feel it. You feel this change within yourself. Something begins to warm up. It's no longer that anxiety of wondering, why didn't they respond, or am I good enough? No, now it's different. There's peace in the gaze. There's presence in the touch. There's truth in the words. Affection becomes a safe place, no longer an emotional war zone. The past still screams at times. Yes, it's still there. The traumas, the fears, the insecurities. But the present starts to speak louder. And when someone is willing to stay, even knowing your pain, it changes everything. Because real love isn't blind. It sees and chooses to stay anyway. And then you begin to understand. Perhaps the problem was never you. Maybe you were just surrounded by people who didn't know how to handle such feelings. People who confused intensity with neediness, depth with drama, commitment with fragility. Not anymore. Now you are seen with eyes of admiration, not judgment. And for the first time, you feel that you can be yourself. No filters, no armor, no fear. Love, when it's real, doesn't need games. It's light, yet profound. It's gentle, yet impactful. It doesn't try to convince you. It embraces you. And you, after so long, find yourself smiling at small things. A cup of coffee in bed. A silly conversation at the end of the day. A touch in the middle of the street. It's like the universe is saying, now you're right. Now it's yours. And little by little, you start to believe it. You start allowing yourself more. You begin to open spaces within yourself that have been locked up for years. But there's something essential here. Love only flourishes where there's fertile ground, and that ground is made of sincerity, reciprocity, and maturity. It's not enough to just want it. You have to cultivate it, and that someone is willing to do just that. Willing to learn with you, to grow alongside you, to make it work, even if the world outside says that loving isn't worth it anymore. Yes, the world is colder, faster, more disposable. But the two of you are going against the grain. You are creating something unique, something that isn't measured by likes or appearances, something that only those who have suffered can understand. The beauty of a love that doesn't need to shout to be real. Here lies the great turning point. You stop begging for crumbs and start savoring emotional feasts. Because when someone chooses to love you wholly, with your light and shadows, that's more than romance. That's healing. And healing starts like this. A lingering gaze, a good morning filled with intention. A shared silence that isn't uncomfortable. An I'm here that doesn't need to be said all the time because it is felt. Each day you draw closer to your own truth, And you understand that love didn't come to save you. It came to remind you of who you are. It came to revitalize you. It came to give you breath after so many no's, so many closed doors, so many almosts that hurt more than breakups. Perhaps the greatest beauty of this moment is precisely this. You no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer need to shrink to fit. You no longer need to accept less out of fear of being alone. True love doesn't fill voids. It overflows. It doesn't come to complete. It adds. And now you live this experience with care, with calm, with commitment, but also with a sense of deserving that, for a long time, seemed impossible, because the love that arrives now doesn't come to demand. It comes to honor you, and that's why you choose to leave the past where it belongs, not because it stopped hurting, but because, at long last, something greater has arrived. It has arrived with presence, with consistency, with courage. It has arrived with the strength that only true love has. Now it's your turn to decide. Will you open up? Will you allow this feeling to grow? Will you let go of the hurts without demanding explanations, without dragging any chains? Because love needs space, and that space is only created when you decide to release what holds you back. When you look back with gratitude for the lessons learned, but without a desire to return. What lies ahead is infinitely more genuine than everything that has passed. And this is not utopia. It's real life, it's the present, it's you here now feeling that yes, it is still possible, it's still worth it. So take a deep breath, allow yourself, because this love is only the beginning of all that is yet to come, and you deserve to live this fully, without fear, without rush, and above all, without looking back. And even if at certain moments fear tries to pull you back to those old versions of yourself, those that accepted so little, that confused crumbs with banquets, that begged for answers in silences that were already, in themselves, responses, something inside you has changed, because when true love touches us, it awakens dormant areas. It reclaims our purest emotional memory, the one that knew how to love without losing itself. You no longer have to mold yourself to what others expect of you. You no longer need to play roles to be accepted. What this new connection shows you is that being who you truly are is enough. And that feeling is almost overwhelming, isn't it? Because you spent so much time trying to fit in, trying to please, trying to belong, that when someone embraces you in your rawest, truest form, your mind is taken aback. But the heart isn't taken aback. The heart recognizes and accepts. The person who arrived and who stays truly listens to you, not just with their ears, but with their soul. They pay attention to the details that no one else notices. Do you know when you change your tone of voice because something has affected you? They notice. When you pretend that everything is fine, but your eyes reveal the opposite? They see it, and more importantly, they don't run away. They stay, not to fix you, but to walk alongside you as you rebuild yourself. You begin to understand that love is not a destination. It's a process, one day at a time, one step at a time, and this time with someone willing to walk by your side, even on the hardest days. No threats, no emotional punishments, no toxic game of, if you mess up, I'm leaving. No, now it's different. Now it's about building, and building requires presence. It requires daily choices. It requires looking into each other's eyes and saying, I still want you, even when it's hard, even when there's noise. Because true love isn't the one that never faces conflict. It's the one that knows how to resolve issues without destroying. How many times have you been told you were hard to love? How many times have you internalized guilt for relationships that never blossomed? How many times have you thought you were emotionally too much, too intense, too sensitive, too deep? Well, now in the face of this new love, you see that your too much was always a treasure, and that the problem was never how much you felt, but how incapable the other person was of feeling with you. And that's why now, when affection arrives with sincerity, you don't have to shrink yourself. You can be whole. You can feel everything. You can express what hurts. You can laugh loudly. You can cry without fear of being called weak. You can be vulnerable. And in being so, you are not discarded. You are embraced. There comes a moment when everything becomes clearer. The way you look at yourself changes. Self-worth shifts from being a banner raised during times of loneliness to a daily practice. You don't love yourself just because you need to, but because you now understand your value, reflected in the eyes of those who truly love you. And that reflection is transformative. When love arrives truthfully, it doesn't erase your individuality. It enhances it. It encourages you to be better, not out of pressure but from inspiration. It reminds you of your dreams, gently nudging you out of your comfort zones. It says, "Go, I'm with you." And even if the scars of the past are still there, they no longer hurt like they used to. Because now they tell stories, not wounds. Stories of survival, of learning, of overcoming. Of someone who was on the verge of giving up on love but didn't. Perhaps what surprises you most in this moment is the sense of peace. Not that chaotic euphoria of beginnings that feel more like emotional roller coasters, but a calm, deep, constant peace. A peace that says, "This is it," and you believe. For the first time, you believe without needing external guarantees. Because the connection is so genuine that it becomes unquestionable. And don't be fooled, this doesn't mean everything will always be easy. There will be challenges, there will be cloudy days, but now you won't be alone anymore. You have someone who doesn't run away in the face of clouds, someone who offers you shelter, who holds your hand and reminds you that the storm will pass. And when it does, what remains is even stronger. You begin to rediscover the beauty of small gestures, the scent of skin, the exchange of silent glances, the shared routine, the unexpected laughter, the complicity that arises without needing to be announced. It's as if life is finally returning to you everything that was taken away. In this process of rebirth, you realize something essential. Love is not about filling voids, it's about adding to wholeness. Two complete individuals come together, respecting each other and uplifting one another. What you're experiencing now is not a disguise for lack disguised as romance. It's a connection. It's maturity. It's conscious surrender. You are being loved as you've always deserved. And this internal recognition transforms you. You start to view others with more compassion, but also with greater discernment. You no longer accept less than you deserve. You no longer engage in baseless promises. You no longer confuse intensity with emotional availability. You have grown. And that growth is visible. It's beautiful to see how different you are, more confident, more whole, more at peace. This change didn't come from someone else. It came from within. The other person merely helped you see what was always there. And that's why this relationship is strong, because it reflects the deep emotional work you did, even when no one was watching. Now, you are living the love you silently nurtured, the love you built day by day, even while healing open wounds. You chose not to become bitter, not to close yourself off, not to give in to emotional cynicism. And this choice, while painful, is leading you to a place many doubt exists, a true, real, possible love. And this love didn't come by chance. It arrived because you were ready to open up, to take risks, to trust again, even with fear, even with doubts. You chose to move forward, and in that choice, love found you. So don't sabotage yourself. Don't doubt the beauty of what you're experiencing. Don't expect something to go wrong just because it did before. Remember, you are no longer who you were, and now you're with someone who isn't like those others. Allow yourself to live this fully, with courage, with presence, with surrender, because the love you're receiving now isn't just any love. It's the love you've always sought, but one that you can only accept now with maturity and a clear heart, and it's here to stay. You look back and see a long road filled with twists and turns, falls and lonely fresh starts. There were days when it felt like no one saw your efforts. You loved in silence, trusted too soon, believed in promises that turned into absence. And still you didn't completely shut yourself off. Even when tired and hurt, you wanted to believe. Deep down, you still held on to a hope, even if it was small, that true love could exist for you too. And look, it's here. It came quietly, but with a strong presence. It arrived without pressure, but with consistency. And it settled inside you like a new home. Because in the end, that's what true love is, a sanctuary. A place where you can rest from the hardness of the world, where you can be yourself without masks, without fear, where you are seen with kindness, with genuine interest, with that tenderness you've sought your whole life, perhaps even without knowing how to name it. Yes, the past still tries to visit you sometimes. Some memories insist on returning like ghosts. But now, for the first time, you're not alone in facing them. There's someone by your side holding your hand, listening to you, embracing you, and who won't leave at the first sign of depth. Because this person doesn't want just your surface, they want to dive deep with you, and this presence changes everything. Because true love doesn't come to complete you, as they say. It comes to overflow what is already good within you. It doesn't come to erase your pain, but to walk alongside it. It doesn't promise a life without conflict, but offers companionship to navigate each one. It doesn't demand perfection, but builds trust, day by day. You are experiencing what so many doubt: a real, mature, sincere connection, a genuine exchange, a relationship where there's no room for games, emotional distance, or vague promises. Here, there is depth, there is presence, there is a mutual desire to make it work. And that, in itself, is rare and precious. So ask yourself, are you ready to truly let go of the past? Are you ready to stop expecting the worst just because it hurt before? Are you ready to live something new without the fear of getting hurt, stealing what hasn't even started to bloom fully? The answer is already within you. It's time to let go of old emotional anchors, to stop apologizing for feeling too much, to stop accepting scraps out of fear of being alone. The love that stands before you now demands presence, not perfection. It demands commitment, not submission. And above all, it demands courage. Courage to love even after being hurt. Courage to trust even after being betrayed. Courage to move forward without dragging the debris of what once made you believe was love, but never was. Life is giving you a new chance. Don't waste it trying to protect yourself from what could go wrong. Live for what could go right. Feel, experience. Open yourself up. Allow this feeling to take the space it deserves within you. Because not everyone chooses to love with presence. And when someone does that, when someone dedicates, insists, and remains, that person deserves to be seen, and you above all deserve to live this. You've made it this far. You've gone through so much. You've survived your own pains, and now you have the chance to experience a complete love. A love that doesn't come to complete you, but to walk alongside you as you become even more yourself. And if you've felt all this in your heart, if any part of this text has embraced you inside, then don't keep it to yourself. Comment here. Have you ever felt that finally someone loves you the way you deserve? Have you experienced this type of love, or are you still waiting for it? I really want to hear your story, your struggles, and your new beginnings. Sharing is also a way to heal. Subscribe to the channel here to keep receiving content that resonates, provokes thought, and awakens you. Every week we are here to reflect, grow, and transform us together. And of course, if this text made sense to you, give it a thumbs up. It's not just a button, it's a signal that it's worth continuing to bring this kind of truth to the world. Because in the end, everyone just wants one thing: to be loved and to love in return without fear. So take a deep breath, let go of the past, and embrace this love. Because finally it is real and it's yours.